Welcome on the cosmic atom. Some individuals go through life without noticing much. They may attend a party without feeling the undertone of stress. They may grin at someone without seeing the grief in their eyes. But not you. You have always seen too much, even if you tried not to. Even when you pleaded to be normal for a day and quit overthinking. Stop feeling overwhelmed. Stop being too attentive of everything. But that vision, that emotional depth was not a mistake. It was a marker. You were not designed to go blindly. You were meant to move forward. It's a crucial aspect of your calling. That's why your life has often seemed heavier than others. Because seeing too much is a kind of weight. It is the weight of observing what others overlook, of being concerned about things that others dismiss, of harboring concerns that no one else wants to raise aloud. You could feel people's changes coming. You detected treachery before events transpired. You've carried emotions that didn't belong to you and had to figure out which ones were yours and which you were just taking up. That is not hypersensitivity. That's a call. And although it is a gift, it may be weighty at times. Let's speak about the pricing for a second, since this kind of sight isn't free. You lost connections because you were unable to ignore red indicators. They termed it merely personality. It cost you tranquility because even in peaceful places, you could sense the storm seething underneath. It even cost you your feeling of belonging because while others smiled and relaxed, you scanned the atmosphere in the room as if your soul was on guard duty. You didn't ask for it, but it was a natural part of your personality. And you may have asked why God would give me such sensitivity and then surround me with people who don't see it or understand it. Because He wasn't preparing you to fit in. He was preparing you to lead spiritually. Let me tell something you've probably never heard. You don't see very much. You see what others have avoided. You simply happen to catch it early. You feel it completely and carry it honestly. That is why others have misinterpreted you. They assumed you were theatrical, excessive, passionate, and emotional. But they didn't know you weren't responding to what they saw. You were reacting to something they were still oblivious to. And that is lonely. Let's not pretend it isn't. It's alienating to know things you can't explain and to sense warnings you can't articulate. To go into a place and feel as if your body understands something that your words cannot express. But isn't paranoia. It is discernment. God entrusted you with it. I'd want to leave you with a picture. Imagine someone standing atop a mountain while everyone else remains in the valley. From that height, you can see farther. You see the storm approaching. The clouds change. You detect danger that others do not yet see. But nobody believes you. Everything seems to be in order from their vantage point. That's you. You were not placed on the mountain to be appreciated. You were sent there to warn, guide, and stand in the gap. Yes, it may be lonely up there at times, but heaven is with you at that height and vision, which proves your mission. So, no, you're not too sensitive. You've received the gift of sight. While it may have made life more difficult, it also means you're trusted with increased responsibilities. God does not grant this kind of insight to someone who He intends to keep in shallow water. You were sent to the depths, which is why you have gone through what you have. That is why your prayers resonate differently. That's why you feel called even when no one says your name. Because God knows that those who see this much are capable of carrying so much. Let's chat about your eyes for a bit. Not the color, not the form. I mean the weight of them. Because whether you realize it or not, your look contains truth. When you maintain eye contact for an extended period of time, people look away. Not because you are terrifying, but because your eyes look deeper than they are prepared to go. They feel vulnerable since you aren't just staring at them. You are reading the patterns. You can tell the difference between what they're saying and what they really mean. And it is part of your task. You don't just observe events. You see roots. You perceive cycles. You notice what caused the wound rather than the conduct that resulted from it. And sure, it may be stressful at times, since seeing too much frequently means mourning things while others continue to celebrate them. You already knew how that relationship would end, how that choice would fail, and how that person was not who they appeared. And you had to bear that knowledge while everyone else kept applauding. But let me speak to your heart. That sort of website does not imply that you are compelled. It indicates that you are positioned. You're the kind of person that heaven can rely on to stand in areas where others are blind, to speak out before it is popular, to back away before it is appreciated. That explains why your life has never been sluggish or tiny. Why did your teachings come earlier? Why did you have to develop judgment in circumstances that didn't seem fair? It was never only about defending oneself. It was about knowing how to see what can't be Googled or feel what hasn't occurred yet, and then carrying that understanding without being bitter. Because certainly, we are both aware that this kind of website may harden individuals. It may make them distant, guarded, and mistrust. It might make you want to shut your eyes and feel at ease again. But this is not what you've done. You've chosen something more holy. You've decided to remain open, to continue offering love even after being disappointed, and to trust your instincts. Even when others mock you for being profound, that takes fortitude. That is spiritual leadership. That is kingdom duty. Let me state it simply. You are not laboring due to a lack of strength. You're stretched because you've been trusted. You bear a spiritual weight. It is not a vague burden. It is God's calling for a person to see what others miss, to express what others won't utter, and to feel what others can't. And it is not for applause. It is for alignment. People in your life right now feel unusually convicted in your presence, even if you don't say anything. That isn't because you are judgmental. It's because your energy reminds them of something they've been avoiding. You carry the frequency of truth, and your quiet speaks because you have done the job. You've sat through your agony. You've asked God difficult questions. You've sobbed over things that others would have put aside and forgotten. So, when you enter a location, you do not bring your own views. You provide wisdom. You bring tranquility. It was earned. You present a viewpoint that was battled for. And whether people say it or not, they sense the change. That is why some are attracted to you, while others shun you completely. It is not personal. It is spiritual recognition. God gave you this level of depth because He knows you would not misuse it. You will not use what you observe to embarrass others. You will not manage results just because you anticipated how things would evolve. He granted you eyesight since you've shown that you also have compassion, which distinguishes you. You could be in a phase right now when you're not talking much, not explaining yourself, and not warning individuals who don't want to be helped. That is all right. Being quiet is not the same as being satisfied. And you, my friend, are settling into who you are. You're realizing that you don't need to change everything you see. Some things are just intended to be observed and surrendered. That is wisdom. That is maturity. And that is how heaven knows you are ready for the next step. So what happens now? God now starts to surround you with individuals who do not diminish you and do not dismiss your understanding as weird. Don't summon your discernment too much now. God begins matching the weight you bear with the task you've been feeling. Doors that were previously closed due to inconvenient scheduling are now softly opening. And when they do, you'll be able to go through with confidence since you'll know there were no delays. They were safeguards till your sight grew into knowledge. So, the next time you're wondering why you're feeling so strongly, remember this. You see too much because you were chosen to bear what others cannot even identify yet. And God is now constructing around that spot. Thank you for joining me on this adventure. If this message connected with you, please share it with someone who might benefit from it and subscribe to stay in touch. Continue your awakening journey by selecting one of the videos on your screen that speaks to you the most. See you there. Dear viewers, your support through Super Chat and membership is the only source of income that keeps this channel running. If you want me to continue uploading valuable content without delays and to stay motivated in providing you with the best wisdom. I need your help. Every contribution, big or small, makes a huge difference. Feel free to donate and support Pure Wisdom so we can keep growing together. Your generosity keeps this journey alive.
If you're enjoying the content on Pure Wisdom and find value in the messages we share, I encourage you to subscribe. Based on the latest analytics, 93.9% of viewers are watching without subscribing. By subscribing, you not only stay updated with new content, but also support the channel's growth, allowing us to continue spreading wisdom for the chosen ones. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an important message. Let's build this community together.